into the afternoon here in Atlanta, Georgia for the 2022 Atlanta Open. We're having a great time here on Stadium Court, and it's because we've got a great cast and crew. And speaking of cast and crews, welcome on in. I'm Cameron Irwin alongside Olympic gold medalist and a couple Olympics underway in terms of your career, Mr. Rich Lambourne. But it's time to get into 1 versus 16 on the men's side. We have a pretty daunting #1 team out there right now between Schalk and Theo Brunner, and I believe it's going to be quite a challenge to face off against the number 16 seed. We'll get into it, but Mark Sherman's down on the sand.
It is time for our next match here on Stadium Court. I see you down there grooving, Q. I see you grooving. We're going to meet the other team, though, first, shall we? Yes, we shall. It's good to see these guys back together here at the AVP. They qualified for Atlanta via a strong finish at the Atlantic City Tour Series event. And this first guy coming out of Santa Cruz, out of UC Santa Cruz. Put your hands together for Jacob Landel. And his partner. Love to see this guy stroll in the sands of Hermosa Beach. Lev, Priima, I gotta let you know, man, I am rooting for you all the time, and I'm excited to see what you do out there on a slightly low net. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Lev Priima. In 3, 2, 1. Half. He'll come out when he wants to come out. It's fine. We're moving on. There we go. Hey, there's Lev. Yep. And their opponents coming here in Atlanta. They took home the win in Hermosa Beach. Were denied last week in Fort Lauderdale, but they are hungry to get it back here in Atlanta. First up, the Olympian out of Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. He is the Kamer. It's Schalk. And his partner, the big guy, out of Ridgefield, Connecticut. I really couldn't tell the difference between you and David Lee until you took your shirt off. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best blockers on the AVP Tour, maybe the best. He is Theo Brunner.
Nothing like a good joke to get you started, Mark Sherman. Giving none only than Theo Brunner a little hard time as he's getting out on this sand, but Rich Lambourne, Cameron Irwin. And what do we have to expect from this #1 seed, Rich?
Well, they've been playing great ball all season long. We've talked about their 4th place at the World Championships internationally. We talked about their win at Hermosa. They were in the finals. They're playing some great ball all weekend long, but just ran into a bit of a buzzsaw in Crab and Bourne in the finals. So look for them to play very, very well. And Lev and Jacob going to have their hands full a little bit.
Without a doubt, as that ball is rolled up to the net, set just off. And actually, I got a chance to sit down and have breakfast with these two this morning and talk to them about what they're looking for in the second half or that later portion of the season on the AVP Tour. One of the skills to improve, right there, out of system setting. That one just a little bit wide and a smirk coming, even though a point still to Theo Brunner and Schalk as they missed that serve.
And I think that's an upgrade they've made to their game, not only the setting element of that, but also making fewer mistakes when the set is not there. They've really cleaned up some of those things. And you got to credit Q Nguyen, their coach in the box, for a lot of that. I'm kidding, of course. Mostly working with Scott Davenport. Q just here for the weekend. Good friend of theirs, good friend of a lot of the players on tour, great guy.
Yeah, he's got a nasty little serve. I saw that in warm-ups. There's a look at Theo Brunner. Serve and run up to the net. Nice shot from Jake Landel, UC Santa Cruz product.
Yeah, we were kind of saying he's like the American Daniele Lupo.
Yeah. Right?
Kind of, he's got the beard, he's got a little bit of the swagger, and he's got a not too dissimilar game to the Italian silver medalist.
Just 6'2", 30 years old, and maybe needed to be about 6'3" on that one.
Yeah, really nice shot back to the line. In some trouble there, Theo Brunner, but as we've been talking about, finding ways to get themselves out of it without making mistakes, unforced errors.
You mentioned the 4th place finish at World Championships. That actually put them in a pretty solid position internationally as you take a look at the 16th seed. But in terms of prepping for that upcoming qualification process for the 2024 Olympics, go pretty steady in terms of where they are in points internationally.
Yeah, that qualification window not open just yet, but they're positioning themselves well, as you said, to start off that qualification period in good position.
I believe that starts in January. Is that right?
That's an excellent question. I would tend to agree with you, as you are constantly more informed than I am.
So 4-3 on the first side switch. And there's a look at your champions on the 2022 AVP Tour. And the highlighted, Theo Brunner and Schalk. It's also important to note, no team has won 2 titles this year. The only person to do that, just one person, Phil Dahlhauser, with 2 different individuals, though. So this #1 seed looking to go a 2-title year at this point, but Tri and Trevor, well, the guarantees their direction. 4 all now. Well handled, Schalk up at the net. Look at that big block. Schalk intimidating.
Yeah, missed opportunity there, because that was a really nice play defensively from Priima and Landel. Those are the plays against the 1 seed that they're going to have to convert if they want to hang around in this match.
Pulling out the hands, and a beautiful set, but even better play from Theo Brunner. You gotta like the way he's pressing over and taking away angles from Jake Landel.
Yeah, probably, you know, maybe outside of Phil, he's our most intimidating blocker in the United States. Just almost a savant at that skill, I would say.
Yeah, I remember back in, I believe it was the 2021 season, or maybe 2020 season, we were hanging out in Long Beach, and I feel like all of a sudden Theo Brunner started to assert himself predominantly at the net, taking some big-time blocks, and those numbers just started to climb.
Yeah, it is kind of the foundation of their defensive setup, and there's right on cue.
Yeah, and an intriguing tactic there. He goes with the swing block as well.
Yeah, kind of got fooled momentarily anyways by the jump set, but that's his bread and butter. Obviously played indoor at Santa Barbara and with the national team for a little bit before coming out to the beach, so swing blocking, no new thing to him.
Currently residing in Hermosa Beach, California, originally out of Connecticut. Spent some time in Greece recently as well. His wife from there. 6'7" is Theo Brunner. Just in case you're wondering how high above the net he actually is.
Yeah, he's easily getting up there in the 11 and a half feet range, even on his block jumps.
And an ace serve from Jake Landel. Goes with the off speed, the changeup. See the jumps on screen. That's the total number of times he's gotten off the sand to this point. Tough serve into the middle. The pass and set, not quite what the #1 seed is looking for right now.
Yeah, and those are the plays that, you know, we talked about them really upgrading and avoiding those unforced errors, but, you know, as much as you train, they still happen to the best of us.
Yeah, and talking to him this morning, that again was an area of focus, not only out of system setting, but just steadying out the pass and set a little bit. Theo Brunner seeing the majority of the side out right now. Out of the net and slapped over, open hand. Quick set. Like the change in tempo.
Yeah, it's so tough to deal with Theo too, because it looks like he doesn't have much of an approach, but one of the things that makes him so proficient at blocking is his kind of straight up and down explosiveness is so devastating, just able to get up so high and so quickly.
Tough serve down the line. Stepping in, quick transition. And again, starting to see some more offense from those two in terms of speeding things up.
Yeah, that's such a good play. It's so hard to defend when Kame just kind of walks into that cut shot and Theo can give him some tempo on that set. You really are just caught off guard as defenders because you haven't had time to reset.
Yeah, and you can start to see it there with their hitting efficiency on screen, 556. I like that swing from Jake Landel. He's staring that ball down.
And gets 5 hand slaps from his partner left.
For every kill you earn, you get an extra slap. We might be here a while.
Really, really nice swing up the middle there. Good aggressive hard jump and good swing from Jacob Landel.
Got a little extra something on that. Lev Priima giving himself a hard time.
Yeah, the challenge, I think, for Priima and Landel is going to be to stay aggressive. They can't try and get too cute against Schalk and Brunner.
I think that came off Jake Landel's knee.
Yeah, that was wild. We'll see if we get a replay on that, but it was bang, bang, bang.
Why not play some foot volley? I love the shove there. I'm not sure what part of that came off of Jake Landel, but nonetheless, ball's up.
Yeah, it looked like it came right off his platform, but that's because he's in that good ready position.
Gonna get a replay here. I think came Schalk a little eager to get the serve underway. 11-8 now. Just the first round of play for these two teams, their first matchup. Winner will move on in the winner's bracket. Right now, Bud and and Troy Field picked up a first round win. They're on that same side of the bracket. As our Brewster and Friend with the upset over the number 4 seed. One to the tech now. Wiping the sweat and the sand out of the eyes. You can see the efficiency on the side of Landel and Priima, just 154. But only 2 points of difference. It's kind of intriguing.
Yeah, they've made some nice
rare.
plays defensively. Yeah, that is rare to kind of see that much discrepancy not translate to a bigger discrepancy on the scoreboard. But a comfortable 3-point lead. Schalk and Brunner pretty well in control of this match, and the challenge is for Lev and Jacob to keep playing their game and playing it aggressively.
So 12-9 into the technical timeout, but we have so much volleyball still on the 2022 season. Take a look at our schedule because it's all coming to that Phoenix Championship, because this is our first Gold Series event. I know we've been talking about it all morning, but that's because we are so thrilled to be here. More prize money and some big time play. The big dogs have come to eat here in Atlanta. Then we'll move on to Manhattan Beach, the granddaddy of them all. You win there and you are enshrined on the Manhattan Beach Pier. And then, of course, Chicago, a phenomenal stop. One of my all-time favorites. I know you love the city of Chicago and some of that deep dish pizza.
I'm more of the, I like the taco spot that's just next to the deep dish place.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But great food and great volleyball, one of the great stops on the 2022 tour. And, of course, Orlando, you now see it up there. That will be in December as we inch closer and closer to Christmas. So we've got volleyball all through the year now. So much for a season. We're just going 365 days a year. Why not?
Why stop? Why stop? Christmas coming early if you're a volleyball fan this year.
We love it. But Atlanta, the special spot here, the first stop, is because we get to play some night matches. We'll be starting our final match of the day at about 9:45 p.m. local time. That's Eastern time. So still plenty to go here on day number 1 of the Atlanta Open.
We're going full Miley Cyrus this season. Can't stop, won't stop.
As long as you don't come in on a wrecking ball, we're good. Several missed serves now just in this first set on both sides of the net. Trying to find a little bit of rhythm here are these two teams. Cameron Irwin alongside Rich Lambourne. Got Mark Sherman in the house, keeping everyone entertained. Fans will start trickling in here on Friday night. Little Friday Night Lights action, why not?
Yeah, and a nice swing that time from Lev. Kind of jumpy sand out there. We're seeing some great swings from players a lot further away from the net than we're accustomed to seeing them be able to do that.
So how does that shift for you in terms of defensive mindset?
Well, I think if you're a blocker, you've probably got to stay up at the net on some balls you might ordinarily pull. And if you pull, you got to be ready for a little more firepower than maybe you're accustomed to expecting in those circumstances.
Watch for that evolution as the tournament continues on. It's a nice set in transition, good location. And I was talking about technique with these two in terms of that out of system or transition setting. And A lot of times people talk about, well, you always want to square to target, right? You're trying to get your hips around, but a little bit of varying between these two.
Yeah, I think Kame has some of the best control, like just an unbelievable platform that he controls the ball so well. You know, I agree with the squaring thing. There are various interpretations of that.
He said to an extent, you're correct.
Right. Who said that? Kame?
Yep.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the ball knows angles, right? So
exactly.
If you make a great angle with your platform, which he's so proficient at doing, then you're going to get a good result.
Yeah, and so that's exactly, you're spot on. That was the conversation between the two. Theo saying, you know, he likes to kind of use some of those angles, go out of the side of his body, because sometimes you can get jammed, right? When you're just trying to roll that ball up, getting your feet back around, your platform just out in front of you. So a little bit of variation, but they said more than anything, you just need to be balanced and have good body control. So that's the primary focus, at least for Theo, in terms of transition setting from off the net.
Yeah, years ago, he and I worked together a little bit, and we kind of had that conversation about what does square mean.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we think that it means I have to be 100% facing the place I want to go with the ball. But directly behind me can equal square.
Yep.
And then Theo likes to get kind of the 90-degree interpretation. It's not exactly square, but it is somewhat consistent in that you're kind of going down the line, as it were.
The technique has definitely evolved through the years, has it not?
Yeah.
There's an option play, something else they're looking to add to their game. And a block from Kame Schalk. It's covered. Can he get another? And they sneak it right past that left hand. I don't think he earns a block for that, does he? It was covered. Man.
Yeah, that's a soft block. It's a block of the frustrating variety because it doesn't directly equal a point.
You can be sure, though, Theo will hear something about it. Nice set as he carves that back to the line.
Yeah, just kind of a final thought on the whole squaring up thing. Similar to like a golf swing, you know, there are kind of some points of the golf swing that everybody does the same, like at impact and so forth. But
yeah,
until that point, it's really what can you repeat to get yourself to that spot. And so I would say the same thing is true with setting the ball and squaring to your target. Great block there as I yap by Theo Brunner. But, you know, Theo's comfortable doing it one way. Other guys may be comfortable doing it another way, and it's just the thing that you can repeat at a high level over time is what's most important there.
No, that's a great call by you, right? You see so many different styles of play. Whether it's Theo, if he can repeat it, great. If it's Kame, if he can repeat it, great. You're looking for consistency from these guys more than anything else. (18-15) now. Number 1 seed, 3-point advantage. Came at the net again. Couple quick touches. Now he's in the backcourt. Nice outstretched play. Is it tight? Oh, and just a quick swing from Lev.
That'll be a gasser in this heat, certainly, but some great effort. And you saw the ball control of Jacob Landel midway through that play, almost stumbling backwards, threw up the knuckle pokey to keep that alive on his side. Really impressive work from Lev and Jacob.
So they've been going pretty full send in terms of service pressure and side out pressure on Theo Brunner as they earn an ace off the net. It's a 1-point game.
Sometimes you get paid dividends for effort plays, and we're seeing that be the case for Lev and Jacob right here. Late innings of set 1.
Theo Brunner again taking a few steps forward, only to take that ball high on his shoulder. That's the back-to-back serve receptions we've seen kind of have to use that technique.
Right, yeah, that's another play that they incorporate a lot, and I like they failed to side out a couple times, so they throw a little wrinkle in there. Theo runs around the back, gives the defense a different look, and a gutsy play by Lev pulling on a perfect set. There's some of that swagger we were talking about with Jacob Landel, right? He just almost kind of leaves the hand up on the cut shot and nods his head as he rolls back.
I think he's just staring down the ball, making sure it lands in. It's the second time we've seen him do it. Have to find some defense here. Do Landel and Priima. And that ball tags the line. You saw it bounce. So it is set point for Brunner and Schalk.
Yeah, just so tough because Theo's up so big and it looks so effortless, right? You kind of get shocked by how high up there he is.
Shocked or shulked? Theo Brunner earns the last ball. 21-18, the first set going to the #1 seed. But definitely still a few things to clean up if you're Brunner and Schalk.
Yeah, I mean, a convincing victory by them, but yeah, perfect world. They would like to batten down the hatches just a little bit.
21-18, set #2 will be coming up just after this.
It's the choices we make that define us.
Tryon Trevor is coming off a tough, heartbreaking loss.
And ultimately, the enemy is within. Some people want it, some wish for it, but others make it happen.
Tryon Trevor is super lethal, bringing fire and passion to the court.
How will you take charge?
I'm Carrie Walsh-Jennings. I've played with lots of injuries and sore muscles. KT Tape has helped me push past the pain. Today, clinical studies prove what I've always known, that using KT Tape before, during, and after workouts can reduce muscle soreness. Whether it's the Olympics or the local gym, pain is pain.
Tape up with KT Tape, the #1 kinesiology tape. Use it for muscle soreness and many common injuries. KT Tape, train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
At Corner Bakery, we're making your choice simple with choose 2 options every day. Choose 2 of your favorites and turn a simple lunch into a perfectly paired meal. And we're not talking about a few choose 2 options. Pair up any sandwich or panini, any cafe fresh salad or warm simmering soup, or any pan sauteed pasta. So many kitchen crafted options, so little time. Your perfect choose 2 combination is waiting at the Corner Bakery.
I hope you have your calendar clear this weekend because we've got 3 days of epic volleyball action here at the Atlanta Open on the 2022 AVP Tour. The second set, 1 versus 16, now underway. Cameron Irwin alongside Rich Lamborn, and Theo Brunner gets blocked from the start. And back-to-back goes Lev Priima. Take a look at your first set stats. 21 points, 18 points, but then the numbers start to go down. You can see the total number of attacks, 26, 11 kills apiece. Just a 3-point differential in set #1.
Yeah, always difficult when a team out hits you by 300 points. That's not always the decider. We talked about like the discrepancy in that stat not necessarily translating to a huge discrepancy on the scoreboard, but
For sure.
it certainly does make it more difficult on you.
Yeah, and you can always go back to the side out percentage versus transition percentage, right? And how those then encompass that overall hitting efficiency. So you kind of have to take those as separate pieces. A very important part of the game of beach volleyball is that side out efficiency. So that first contact, first opportunity.
And there we got a nice look at another good swing from Lev, pretty far off the net.
There's a look at Brunner and Schalk, 20-3 when winning the first set this season. Nice check down from Kame Schalk, recognizing the pulling block, finding the sideline.
Yeah, Kame, we talked about Theo elevating, but Kame also a very, very big jumper and kind of a sneaky jumper. You don't really realize how well he gets out of the sand until he's hitting angles that you don't expect.
Kame Schalk, the Olympian. Representing Canada previously, now U.S. citizen. Looking to go to 2024 to Paris alongside Theo Brunner. Just a short quad. I don't even know if you can call it a quad anymore. Is it a try?
I feel like we would call it a triad, but that has other implications. I don't know what a 3-year block is called. Triangle?
We could be here all day. 4-3 on the first side switch. Just a week ago, these athletes were competing in some gnarly conditions in Fort Lauderdale. Perfect set, reaching high. This Theo Brunner as he lands just on his left foot. I asked these two how they recovered, and they said, you know, it depends on how many matches you have to play. Sometimes after a tournament, you've got to take 1 day off. Sometimes you got to take 2 days off. And I think after Fort Lauderdale, it was a 2-day off type of week.
Yeah, they stayed down there with their foes in the finals, as it were.
Try and Trevor.
Yeah, and trained down there. Larry's compound in Fort Lauderdale that is just gorgeous from the pictures I saw.
I need to meet Larry. I heard about this compound. I heard it was pretty phenomenal. Beautiful setup.
He's got a beach volleyball court, a full NBA-sized basketball court, waterfalls, pools. I mean, what doesn't he have there?
Running behind is Theo Brunner.
Yeah, the challenge here for Theo and Kame, I think, is to not relax.
It's a great call by you.
Yeah, sometimes they get into a little bit of a lull, especially after a fine performance in set one, and we've talked about a lot of the improvements they've made in the offseason and kind of throughout this season, and that's one that they've gotten better at. And let's see how much better here.
And somehow Lev Priima gets a hand on that. Oh, and that's one you do not want to miss. When your partner gets it saved like that. Dang it. Feels a little, and I don't want to use this term, but it feels a little sloppy right now, right?
A little bit, yeah. It's tough for us to judge. We're sitting in this nice enclosed air-conditioned broadcast booth.
It's so fair.
It's 91 degrees and the heat index probably in the triple digits down there on court. So effort plays like that are wonderful. You love to see it from Priima and Landel, but they do take their toll out there on all the players.
Yeah, without a doubt. .258 for Landel and Priima. Quick toss and another missed serve from Priima. Things moving along here on a Friday evening. Day number 1. Benesh and Lucena winning first round, as did Chase Budinger and Troy Field, Brewster and Friend. Try and Trevor. Women's action also taking place as you take a look at next up here on Stadium Court. Got a full slate left here on a Friday evening. You get a chance to see Benesh and Lucena, who I just mentioned, face off against number 2 seed in Bourne and Crab. It's nice first contact from Theo. Those two repping the Laird shorts. Just signed a 3-year deal with them. Big congrats to them. Get your swim trunks as well as some nice t-shirts. I said we're set in terms of clothing for the next 3 years.
Oh, there you go.
We will have the same attire.
plenty of superfood creamer, no doubt.
Stuff's good. I use it.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite?
Just the regular one.
Just the regular one? Does it have
Isn't it
kind
vanilla?
of like a coconut? I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it have like a coconutty kind of
Kind
a?
of does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just put it in black coffee. Makes you feel like you're getting a little healthier in your morning.
There you go.
Oh, Landel with the press down.
Even on the ground, he's got swagger.
The last to touch. He just got that little extra press.
Well, one of the disadvantages Theo's going to have in that circumstance is kind of the old adage as far as jousts go is it's always the low guy that wins. And Theo almost never the low guy in anything involved in jumping.
No, it's funny. It was actually earlier today talking about cut shots and how sometimes it's a little bit easier when you're going up there to attack to be a little bit undersized. The ball gets to the ground a little bit quicker than if you're up there at a high point.
If that's true, you would have thought I would be much better at beach volleyball.
Big block from Theo Brunner. 3 for him now.
Yeah, I think more than any other player out here, I mean, you just see this shadow come over you when he really finds his range blocking, right? Good swing from Jacob into the angle, and then Theo just closes the phone booth on it.
It's not a thundercloud, it's just Theo Brunner.
Yeah, right?
Sneaking that one through Brunner. Tries to get up there as quickly as he can.
Now, sometimes under Theo is a good place to go.
Reminder, Theo Brunner, 6'7". That's a nice pass from Theo again. Few balls we've now seen, better managed. As a net violation comes on Priima. But I feel like they've steadied out in that area of their game a little bit here in set number 2.
They have, and you mentioned kind of the weariness that's creeping in to all the players. The tempo of the game has really slowed down.
It's true.
It's going to be a challenge for Lev and Jacob to kind of find ways to impose their will on this number 1 seed.
Well, and you talk about some of that weariness, right? We're talking about a 99-degree heat index. The humidity is just overlapping the court. So you have to imagine the attrition from last week to this week. It's just starting to add up match after match after match as you take a look at the stats here. But it's got to start hitting these athletes a little bit harder. I think about trying to be out there, just standing out there, and I'm like, I'm already sweating just thinking about it.
Right. And we're not covering almost a mile's worth of distance as we see there. Our producer telling us that traffic you see in the background, all getting off the exit to join us here in Midtown Atlanta, and we will welcome them gladly.
Right outside Atlantic Station, one of the great venues on the 2022 tour. A lot of the athletes talk about playing under the lights here and how fun it is. The environment really gets going in those evening matches. There's a beautiful look at Atlantic Station. Just across the way. 11:10 now out of the technical timeout. This is Stadium Court. We've got 3 courts in action here between the women's and men's draw. Still looking for a repeat winner on both sides of the draw. Who will assert themselves in the Gold Series? That's the question. We have a few tournaments to go to find the answer.
Yeah, all culminating in Phoenix for the championships, right? That should be super exciting. Indoor event in Suns Arena.
Priima out of the middle. Nice angle. That's something you talked about before this match started. You said, if you've seen Priima play, he likes to swing away.
He likes to swing away. Yeah, he's got a whip of an arm, and you could see it there.
French fries on the board. 11-0. Quick set and some tempo. And it's interesting, you talk about the addition of tempo in the game of beach volleyball, right? We've seen the evolution through the last few years. It doesn't always have to be perfect, right? You're stressing the defense that much more. You don't have to have a hard-driven swing or a perfect attack.
Yeah, you do have to measure out sort of the risk reward a little bit.
Exactly.
But if you hit that window for your partner, the defense is under a bunch more pressure, right? Because it does require less precision. I think that's a perfect way that you said it.
It's finding that balance, right? Knowing when to utilize it. Also your own skill set. Ability to control the ball. Here's Theo looking to control. Just slaps that down. With the heel of his hand.
Yeah, and this is kind of a juncture of the match where I think they need to assert themselves.
Yeah.
See if they can separate on the scoreboard. See Theo there with 4 blocks. If you can get 1 or 2 more and get them out in a 2 or 3 point lead, I think that'll just about do it here. But the more you let teams hang around, the more belief you give them, kind of the tougher you make it on yourselves.
13 all now. Priima will serve. It's just 6'4" is Priima. We say that like it's short just because the other blocker on the other side is 6'7". Little pull pokey. And the middle.
And what a smooth play there.
It's a great way to describe it. No panic, coming off of his left shoulder to or across his left shoulder. That's not an easy ball to take a swing at from the right side.
Yeah, you just saw really good footwork, really good technique with his arm on that play.
And there's the option again. I like that look for them. Teams going after Theo and Kame saying, hey, I want to get involved in this side-out game. There's a look at the weather here in Atlanta. We mentioned the heat index. That's the one you want to pay attention to as the humidity rises. The more hydration these athletes are going to need.
Yeah, 7 miles an hour wind, not a lot. And kind of our stadium here that you see built around us, blocking a lot of that.
How about that swing? That was beyond full send. That was either going to be epic or, well, definitely the opposite.
Tragic.
That's a great, there you go, there's the adjective. From the left. Smooth on the other side. You could barely hear the ball hit the hand of Theo Brunner.
And a good set to push that all the way wide from Kame Schalk.
Trying to look like Phil Dahlhauser, the set from his knees, and wow, Kame Schalk putting that one away.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the way they're going to go, at least for a few points in succession here. Try Landel, see if Theo can impose his will on the shortest of the guys out there. Like you said, not short, just relatively speaking.
Landel and Priima need a bit of a push here. They go with the short serve. And the swat block. Why? There's so many elements to that play. The short serve, what happens in terms of the attacker's tendency, Rich?
His tendency, well, you know, for a smaller type player, you remove his ability, or you diminish his ability, maybe is a better way to say it, to be as physical as he would like to be, because you shorten his approach so he doesn't carry all that momentum into the ball, right? And so you saw Theo do a nice job of kind of delaying, looking for that softer shot, and able to swat it back.
It's a great call. So 17-15 timeout taken by Landel and Priima. Utilizing that short serve are Brunner and Schalk. Be curious to see how much they use that as the tournament continues through, making those side-out players have to work that much more. As you take a look at our schedule here on Stadium Court, 15 versus 2, that's on the women's side. We'll stick with the women in the 6:30 window as well. Cannon and Sponsel back out on Stadium Court versus Day and Simo, one of the newer partnerships on the 2022 season. Simo had been playing alongside Rodriguez. However, she came down with an injury and has now found herself a pretty phenomenal blocker to fill the role in Emily Day in that number 9 seed. These two having a fun time playing alongside one another. A veteran and a little bit of a newbie to the professional ranks is Savvy Simo, one of the great players coming out of the collegiate ranks. She's been on the move, whether it's internationally as well as domestically, playing beach volleyball just about everywhere she can right now, getting the reps. And it's showing up in her play. Nice dig from Kame Schalk. Overhead and from 5 off. Cagey at the net. And another free ball. Looking for a clean contact. And the contact is that of Theo Brunner's block, straight down.
Yeah, I mean, just when a ball goes back and forth 6 or 7 times in this heat, look for everyone to be real tired.
The monster hydro, monster block of the day. Yeah, I think this is a good one right here, Rich.
And you see great timing from Theo, just reaches to that line, closes it down, and gets the straight down stuffy, the monster hydro stuffy.
I like that, I'm gonna use it, stuffy. 5 blocks now for Theo Brunner. And an ace. The bottom just fell out of that. That's like the slow death, right? The slow float serve to the back line. At shoulder height, too.
It's one of those ones, too, like you've already decided and now it's past you, so you can't undo your decision, and then you're just left praying that it keeps going.
Reverse, reverse. It's now match point. They'll look to do it with a side out. 16-20. Quiet platform, quick set, and that ball is on the line, and I believe that set may have been below the height of the net, but it doesn't matter regardless. Theo Brunner finds a way. 21-18, 21-16, the number 1 seed getting off the sand in just 2 sets.
And a really nice job from them. Just kind of, there was a little bit of a lull in the energy level in that match, but right at the kind of the latter third of that second set, they found a way to impose their will and win it running away.
All right, so those two moving on in the winner's bracket. As for Landel and Priima, they're going to be heading to the contenders bracket. Let's take a look at how this one is shaped up. A glimpse back at 1 versus 16. That first set going 21-18. You saw the beautiful slide right there in terms of block, the swing block from Theo Brunner.
Some nice effort that we saw all match long from Priima Landel. Not getting rewarded in that instance, but it did pay them a lot of dividends throughout the match.
Well, they maintained the pressure on Theo Brunner from start to finish in terms of side out. Theo cleaning up that pass game into set number 2. He also really asserted himself up at the net, block after block after block. A couple good reads as well. Kame Schalk patrolling the back of the court. That was one of the best swings from Kame Schalk. How about the control off the block touch and delivery from Theo? Then you're in set number 2. This is to close it out.
Barely higher than the net. Barely higher than the net.
So those two repping their Laird shorts will be moving on. Take a look at how this one shaped up in terms of your stats. You gotta love these coming up. Brunner and Schalk hitting 500 opposed to the 244. Diggs, though, go in the direction of the number 16 seed. All right, so we've got another match coming up here on Stadium Court. I gotta say, big thanks to this guy, Rich Lamborn, sitting in alongside me. Got Dane Blanton on the return.